Hello, little Chanel. How does it feel to be the chosen one? Aren't you lucky? Hello, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to share with you all the bags that I did not want to buy when I was in New York City. This was a couple weekends ago. I was hanging out with Classics with a Quirk. I'll link her vlogs down below if you haven't seen them already. Her second one is when we were in New York City. So we had been planning this trip out for a while, and I had been trying not to buy anything big leading up to her visit because we knew we were going to go into New York City and visit all the boutiques and have a lot of fun together. So if you haven't seen my unboxing already, I did end up getting a little bag. This is my little Chanel Micro. I did keep it. It had like the teeniest bit of residue on the corner, but I was able to get it off. I was so nervous because this was actually shipped to me. They didn't have it in the Madison Avenue store or any of the New York boutiques, but there were a bunch of them in the country. Like, I say a bunch, but like relative for Chanel. I think they had like more than 10 in stock several weeks ago. But my understanding, the way it works is the SA can send a request to the other store with stock. They usually reach out to the one with multiple bags in that style, or just the one they think it's most likely going to come from, and then that store has to approve the release, then it can get sent to the customer. So that's how I was able to get this. I just had a really good feeling about it, but there had been so many bags that I had been stalking online like for weeks and weeks leading up to Quirky's visit. So I knew that we were going to go into Bottega Veneta. We were interested in seeing some Loewe bags, but we didn't get down to Soho because we were mostly in the Madison Avenue area. So I would like to go into Loewe eventually, but we saw some Loewe bags in Saks Fifth Avenue. So Saks was our first stop because we were able to see Montaigne bags, and I think that's how you say it. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but we saw Montaigne, a couple Chanel, some Loewe bags, but they didn't have the fabric flamenco that I'm really interested in. I want to see like a couple different versions of that fabric bag. They have in a couple styles. I think that would be a really cool casual bag, but I wanted to see Montaigne. I've never ever held a Montaigne bag before this. I've never seen them in person, and I've just been ogling it online over and over, like looking up all the hashtags, saving it in different bookmarks, and like, they look so pretty online. I have to admit, I was super disappointed. I'll put up pictures of the exact ones I was interested in because they had this like pink and another like purple nano bag. It's so cute. But when I held it, I don't know, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel that thing that makes you willing to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a bag. Just the glazing was a little bit lackluster. It was kind of like the leather was dull. The glazing, I won't say it was sloppy, but it wasn't super neat either. Just like everything about the bag, it was just a little bit lackluster. The leather was noticeably dull, and it felt hard. It felt kind of plasticky. Just like nothing about it made me want to buy it. And I know that sounds really harsh, but like I just didn't feel the thing. It kind of reminded me of like a really bad version of my Valextra bag, which I love. It is so just perfect, the Valextra bag. Like, you have to hold it to appreciate this. It is so neat and precise, and the leather is hard. It's a treated leather. It's a really structured bag, but it feels good. I can't explain it any other way. You just have to go touch one, okay? But it feels really nice, and the Montaigne bag was not that. So that was a bunch of money saved. Checked those off my list. I got to see them, and I did not want to buy them. So those were the first bags we saw. We then went into the little Chanel that's inside Saks Fifth Avenue. I saw a tweed there that I really liked. It was like this moon shape. I loved the colors in the tweed, but the tweed itself was really stiff and like a little bit itchy feeling. Wasn't wild about that. Also wasn't wild about the price tag. A lot of these small seasonal Chanel bags, which I love, but they're getting really expensive. Now they're over $4,000, whereas before they used to kind of be in that like $2,000 to $4,000. Still a lot of money, but not classic flap money, which of course has doubled since I got my classic flap, which I actually have right in front of me, because this was my bag of the day. I meant to say this in the beginning, but you know, we're just gonna go off script here and I'm gonna show you what I have in it because, you know, I never do a bag of the day and I happen to have it out with me anyway. So I had my Louis Vuitton Rosalie coin purse. I love the blue, and I just wanted a lighter color inside this white bag. It obviously had my phone in it, and then I just used this little pouch to hold my lip gloss, my lip balm, and then I also put my keys in this when I am running around. So where was I going with that? Yes, so Chanel bags, they have gone up in price. We only were in the Saks Fifth Avenue Chanel for 2-3 minutes before we had to run up to our reservation. We went to Piccola Cucina over there, and then we went to Bottega Veneta. I had been staring at this new cassette bag for several weeks. It was called, what's it called? Dark Mystic. Yes, okay. It's like this rich, shiny plum purple. It's in this new cassette size, which I think they're calling the small, but I'll have all the pictures on screen. I thought it was really pretty. Quirky, not so much a fan. She wasn't super into it, but Quirky, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, okay? But I think you said that you liked it a little bit more in person than just seeing the picture, but I'm not speaking for her. I might be totally wrong, but I really liked it from the pictures. And then in person, I loved the color. Wasn't as wild about the texture as I thought it would be. Like, the reason I was interested in this over other cassettes is the edges. They seem to be actually finished on this one. My main holdup with the cassette is because it's like the thick woven leather with that, you know, so it's their classic Bottega weave, but the edges aren't glazed or finished. They're not sealed. And so the ones that I've seen secondhand or even sometimes in the store, the edges will start looking really, really rough. If you have a cassette, please let me know if you've experienced this, but I've just always been worried about wear and tear, and also I don't think it's great on my body shape. I'll link my video, bags and body types or whatever it is I called it, but I'll have that link down below where I talk about how I think rounded shapes, very soft, slouchy bags, or even something like the Fendi Peekaboo where it's not just a rectangle, bags like that, I think they look a lot better on me. This new small, I'm sorry, I'm so disorganized in this video, but this new small cassette bag, I thought perhaps this would look good on me because it's a smaller size. Maybe it wouldn't be like such an obvious rectangle against my frame, especially I can wear it on my hip. I love the color. I'm still looking out for this color if they do it in other styles. The thing I didn't like about it is so specific, and I never would have known this if I didn't try it on. So the cassette uses studs. It doesn't use a buckle closure to adjust the strap length. So it uses these studs, and this is so specific, but I'm like really into texture and just the way things feel. Like sometimes I feel this way about my hair. Like sometimes I just can't stand to have my hair sitting on my neck. It's a thing. Anyway, I just feel very aware of things. Back to this stud problem. The reason it was really annoying is because when the bag is worn crossbody, so the strap is going across your chest, this stud that is used to adjust the length of the strap, I could feel it like pressing on my sternum. I felt very aware of it as I was wearing the bag. Maybe it wouldn't be noticeable if I'm wearing a coat or a thicker sweater or something. I was just wearing a t-shirt. I mean, it was New York City in August, so it was quite warm outside. And I don't want to just have a bag where I have to wear lots of padding to be comfortable in it, but like, okay, have you ever experienced what I'm talking about? Because I could like really feel this stud pressing into my chest when I was wearing the bag, and it's a light bag. I have no idea why this was messing with my senses or something, but it went off my list. And again, when you're spending that much money, it needs to check every box. It needs to be just absolute joy, like from the moment I pick it up. And if I have any hesitation, if anything jumps out at me, even if it's silly, as stupid as it might sound to other people, that's enough for me. Like, I'm then not going to buy it. So this stud thing completely ruined the cassette for me. I think the other ones, like I said, it was never really a bag I looked at in the bigger styles. I've tried it on once, but Now I'm wondering, do those have a buckle? Like for some reason that's like the catalog of purses in my head that's like jumping up right now. I'm thinking maybe the bigger cassettes have a buckle strap adjustment, but this one had a stud and it was very, very annoying. Okay, so those were several bags, checked off my list, didn't want them. I'm trying to think, was there anything else? After this, then we went to the Chanel, the Madison Avenue Chanel, and we had a fabulous time. We tried on like every micro bag that they had in there, every pink bag that they had in there. They absolutely spoiled us. We looked at card holders. We even tried on one teal classic flap that was absolutely beautiful, but it is a fortune. It is more than I paid for my car. It is 5 times what I paid for my car now. Yeah, I mean, I drove a really cheap car for a long, long time, but they're really expensive now. But it was just so beautiful. They happened to be walking by with it. We were just talking with the 2 SAs, the one that was on their way to put it away, and I was like, can I touch it? Of course, like they let me play with it while we were talking about maybe ordering this micro, so we had a very, very good time. I'm glad we were able to go to all those other stores first, because while I felt really confident I would like this little Chanel and like the color, it's just so perfect for what I was like. It's this plum, it has kind of like a fuchsia undertone to it. Maybe it's, I'm looking at my viewfinder, it kind of looks more burgundy on camera. Seriously, the camera does not pick up this color well, but it is beautiful. It reads to me, just looking at it, as like a berry plum color. But I'm so glad I was able to try those other bags, because I thought like that Bottega one, I mean, dark mystic, how great is that color? And it was a really beautiful color, but I saw that and thought, oh wow, this is gonna be so practical. It can hold a lot more than the Chanel Micro. Like the Chanel Micro was less money, not by that much, but I thought that would maybe need to be lower on my list, but the other ones just did not do it for me. And so I was glad I was able to find that out and then go to Chanel and confidently order it. So only one more store. We did end up going into Delvaux, which was a lot of fun. If you don't know, Classics with a Quirk absolutely loves Delvaux, and it was really fun getting introduced to the brand through her. Like, it's always much better going with an enthusiast and someone who knows a lot more about it. So she was showing me everything. We had a really good time. The bags are very beautiful. I was interested in the, I think it's called the Cool Box, but I wasn't wild about how the strap connected to the 2 handles, to the little opposite handles, but it's super cute handheld. I loved the color, the feel of the leather was amazing. See, sometimes it's just about the feel, and Montaigne didn't have the feel. Delvaux totally had the feel. So aside from the Weve, I think I've seen everything on my wish list so far, like at least once in person. I'm holding out on getting anything from Louis Vuitton. Truthfully, I don't know how many more bags I'll be buying this year, or any at all, who knows, but my birthday is in October. I might look at something then, I'm not really sure. Like, I want to see the flamenco I mentioned. I am interested in looking at another Speedy. I can't believe I'm saying this, like, because I've just become such a huge fan of Louis Vuitton. If you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I ended up getting a demi-urbaine Speedy last fall, and I love it. In fact, that's what I brought to New York City with us. It was really handy. It can hold a lot. It's very light. And when I was in Scotland, when I was recently traveling to Alaska, I saw a ton of monogrammed Speedies at the airport. And they were all very well loved. The vachetta handles were worn, they were quite dark, all the ones that I saw when I was there. And I just loved it. I thought they looked so classy, and there was just something really lovely about seeing these very worn Speedies. I know people are like, oh, it's so overdone, or you're seeing them everywhere, like that's a bad thing. Like, I don't feel that way, obviously. I thought it was really, really nice, and I was like, oh, look at all these girls with their Speedies. I loved it. I was like, oh, maybe I want a monogram Speedy. So I do like how hard wearing the demi-urbaine is, since it has that treated leather, but I kind of want a monogram one for the vachetta leather. I mean, and obviously I like the monogram print. I don't have just a regular monogram bag now. I have the backpack, but that's something I miss in my wardrobe. What was it called? The Montaigne. That was my very first Louis Vuitton bag. It had a quality issue. I had to trade it in. That's how I ended up getting my Speedy. I'll have that video linked down below. So that worked out really well, but I kind of missed having a monogram bag, and call me crazy, but I'm thinking about getting another Speedy and then having it so that I can really just wear that vachetta leather. I know it scares people, and some people just do not want any marks on it, or they use Apple Guard and all those things. I know absolutely nothing about that, but I really want a super worn Speedy. I saw one recently. It was at a secondhand shop for a couple $100, but it was battered, and it even like had this slimy stuff on it. Like, it was gross. I wouldn't pay anything for that bag. Okay, like, I want to do the stuff myself also. I'd rather just buy one new. I also know that if anything happens to it, like within the first couple years, if there's any quality issues, so far I've had a good experience with Louis Vuitton, so hopefully that will all work out. We'll see what I end up getting. Anyway, that is all I wanted to share with you. Please let me know, what was a bag that you last saw that maybe you had built up in your mind, something you were really excited about, but then when you saw it in person, it was just such a letdown. And it's totally cool if that happens to be a bag I really like. No hard feelings at all on this channel. We are all just here to have a good time. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.